So yeah, buzzwords. Today's buzzword
Word.
is visibility. Visibility, and this is a big one.
It's going to be important.
I think it's the most important part of marketing and advertising in general has always been visibility in a way. I mean, technically radio, it's like you're not seeing them, you're hearing them.
Right.
And then I think that the radio companies out there realize that that isn't going to work anymore, and they are now trying to get into connected TV. So they're starting to realize, hey, we need to get into other medium that people are actually spending their time in. And
they're trying to push the TV thing on everybody
Yeah.
because of the actual Hulu and
because the name brands that they're working with, Paramount, HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Pluto, and it's like,
they're all giving a deal. But honestly, you want to create, especially if you're local, I would put my creating dollars here, not in a TV.
Yeah.
Your community outreach would be better than
that's
seeing
it.
you on after a movie of Harry Potter or whatever, and going,
the pre-roll of YouTube or something like that. Like the thing is like advertising and marketing is all about putting your brand where people are, and people are on their phones
more than ever.
And where they are on their phone, they're not just playing games. They're not just on YouTube. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're on TikTok. They're on Snapchat. They're on platforms.
And the funny thing is when you have this, they're like, oh yeah, well the older folks. I think more Gen X is probably use this more than any of the generations at this point.
Oh, 100%.
I think I mean, they say, what is it, 55 to 65. Most of the owners I deal with say, oh, no, they're not looking. Oh, yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah.
They're not on the TikTok or the Instagram, but they are on Facebook.
Oh, we see them in just our stats. When you go into the Meta Suite and you look at like the B, we're a really big page. You can see the age demographic, and I think the over 55 is over 30% of our audience. And when you look at that and you think, okay, well, how big is that? Well, it's not just followers. We have 64,000 followers, so that means 18,000 are over 55. But when you actually extrapolate how many people saw it, and you look at how many reach you got, and you're between 800 and 900,000, that means you're reaching 180 to 300,000 people 55 plus.
Right.
And then when you think of, okay, well, what other mediums are there for visibility? Well, there's radio, like we talked about. How often are you listening to the radio? How many hours in a day or minutes in a day? How often are you looking at a newspaper?
Newspaper, I don't even think exists. Does it even exist?
They're still around.
Oh, okay.
They're still around. And
I
people
haven't
pick them
up. Maybe I'm not looking for it.
And that's the thing, And then you get direct mail. That's visibility. It's going in their mailbox. They're going in the mailbox. They're grabbing it. They're spicking through it really quick, and they're just like, well,
What are you thinking about?
they throw it out.
All about the print. Yeah.
Right.
Print.
So this is a good one. This is a good one to kick off buzzwords like this whole new season for us, just because
let's go for it.
It's everything. All right. So today what we're going to discuss, of course, is visibility, and the different subtopics in visibility are AI versus traditional, which we're going to talk about. Like, what does that even mean? What does it look like? What is GEO, which a lot of people recognize SEO. They've heard it if they're a business owner, and someone has told them at some point, do you know anything about SEO?
Or they've seen it on their phone.
They see it on their phone. They see an ad. They get an email from someone that says that they can help their SEO.
Right.
Well, GEO is this new thing, and I've heard of different acronyms. I've heard SEO as search everywhere optimization. That was some of the really
sounds like they're backing
early
up because
stuff. Yeah, and then
I think the
generative.
GEO would probably be where it's turning to.
It does. It seems like it. So
you hear it more than you do SEO as much.
Yeah, you do. So we'll talk about what that even means. New marketing funnels. Yeah, right. Yeah, we won't get too technical.
Yeah, I won't.
New marketing funnel strategies, like how AI assistants are doing that. Social media's role in AI discovery. This is a big one. This is really what we do the most, is social media management and marketing and advertising, and how AI is like getting into it. Contrarian take of the week. SEO is dying. Websites might be too. That's a big thing.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. We'll dive into that.
Yeah. So
local business angle. We'll talk about how big national, huge worldwide AI, how it's impacting local businesses, and how local businesses are using it, how local customers are using it to search for local businesses. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Well, living in where we are, we have a lot of out-of-staters coming
out of state and an older community because we're a retirement area,
right?
And you can see that just by going out and about. You'll notice that the average population is a lot older, and so what do they think about AI? And then the last part is we'll look at some debate topics for the people in the audience who are watching the episode that can start like kind of thinking of like what their take is on it, and they can like leave comments on what we're talking about
Love
today.
comments.
Because we'll put this everywhere. We'll break it down into long form on YouTube. It'll be short everywhere else, so people can get little nuggets. All right.
Nuggets.
Yes, nuggets of info. Biggest shift. Okay, so we're going to start off with GEO. So first off, what is generative engines? Most people will recognize the term ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. That was the original one that came to the forefront, and everybody's like, okay, I know what ChatGPT is.
That's a whole nother subject, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's the one that people when they think of AI, they think of that brand name, ChatGPT. Right. And then Microsoft got on the bandwagon pretty quick and started incorporating Copilot into Windows computers. So if you have a Windows computer, whether you liked it or not, it seemed like it was popping up trying to do stuff for you.
I'm here.
And then Google was slow to play. And even though it's just kind of interesting, the new technology for AI came from Google's engineers.
Yep.
But they were really worried about the security of the rollout to the public. And what happened is basically OpenAI, who is ChatGPT, kind of pushed them into like, you got to get in front of this, because they were going to take over so much market share. So Google then came out to the forefront with Gemini. So you'll recognize the term Gemini. Now that's taken over your Gmail, your Google Drive, your Google Workplace stuff, going just to Gemini itself. And then Gemini has models that people recognize, things like Nano Banana.
How about Perplexity? I've been hearing and playing
Perplexity,
with
is an Anthropic one, which that was just recently in the news because Anthropic CEO, they were working out a deal with the Department of War to use their AI systems for the Department of War, but basically the CEO said, "I'm not going to give you full reign. I will not just give you the tools and let you go at it." And the reason why is from what the CEO said, is that the biggest reason is that he didn't feel that the AI should make the decision on executing a weapon.
Right.
That potentially can harm people. That he always felt that there should be some type of human in the loop, which is another term in AI. And I don't remember what there was two primary reasons. I think that was the biggest one. I don't remember what the second one was. So
I just hear it, Perplexity shuffling itself in the mix of them. And,
huge.
And they came out of nowhere too. I mean, literally.
Yeah, so Anthropic, which is like, OpenAI is the parent company of ChatGPT.
Right.
Anthropic is the parent of Perplexity. And Perplexity is also Claude. So you'll hear Claude term a lot. Mm-hmm. So Claude was the original and probably the best coding engine out there. So that's why you probably, so that one got really thrown in there. It's actually considered one of the top one. It's the top coding one for sure, but it is really probably one of the most preferred AI models right now is Claude, because they just came out with Perplexity Computer or Claude Computer, where it can actually take over your computer and do tasks for you, which is a lot of the new AI stuff that you might have heard of Claude Bot. That's a new...
hey, AI, stop taking everybody's job.
I know, yeah. It's going to get kind of weird to see what it does in that sense. So... GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, what does that even mean? So we're going to look at one little thing from Search Engine Land. If you don't know what Search Engine Land is, they are probably literally the longest, oldest, biggest search engine optimization SEO like resource that I remember, 15 years ago was the very first websites that I used to go to learn about what is SEO, how does it even work? So what this is it basically kind of is talking about traditional search versus AI search. So something that people were so used to doing for such a long time is when they wanted to find something, if you look at that left graphic where it says traditional SEO, you would go to a search engine, being a Google, a Yahoo, a Bing, an AOL, and you would search for a term, and then based on these different algorithms that particular ranker would have, it would position the result in a list. And so you could see it says rank on SERPS, that's search engine ranking position. That's just basically how well your site ranks. And then that position would then give you a click-through rate, which is that CTR.
Right.
The backlinks was a big signal of authority. So if your website had thousands of different websites out there in the internet that pointed to you as a source of information, then you got, you were backlinked, and it gave you authority. And then you as the consumer then clicks on the result that's near the top because you
Right.
believe it to be
That's
one of the
old.
best.
Right.
That's the way it always was. And then 10 per page is what it's saying. Domains shown
So when
per
did it
page.
change? Within the last 3 years, maybe?
Within the last 3 years, as AI came out,
Right. Boom. It started.
people were going to AI to ask it to do certain little tasks like write me a joke, revise this email, I want to resign from my job.
Write me an essay.
Write an essay, they're in school. But then they started using it to like, what's it good? Because in the very beginning, I don't know if you remember when you first started using ChatGPT, it didn't have anything, it didn't have any recent events. I don't know if you remember that.
It didn't.
In the very beginning, if you typed in like, who won the basketball game last night, it didn't know because it was like from years before.
Right.
And so as soon as all of the different LLMs, which is all the AI tools out there, started to do real-time data, then people started to go there to ask it actual search questions like, what are good restaurants in Kingman, Arizona?
Well, this is where it gets important because any small business
Mm-hmm.
that I've worked with, or I've worked with multiple main companies, but these small ones, if they're not getting on the program, they're just gonna become a building.
Yeah.
Because they don't know anything about it and they can't even get it out of a search.
Right. Well, and that's what's scary, right? Is that I would say when you look at all the clients that we have worked with in the past up to now, that's hundreds of clients over the last decade, right? I would say that, no joke, 90% didn't even understand SEO. The traditional thing that's been around for 20, 30 years, right? Since 1995.
Well, they're busy running businesses.
They are.
That's the serious part of it all. They know in their head they need to get to it.
Yeah, they've heard the term and they know it's important, but they just don't have the time, like you say.
I'm doing books.
Yeah.
I'm ordering.
And that's what's scary about the shift, right?
Yes.
The shift is happening and they didn't even get a grapple on the last one.
No, because they dibbled and dabbled.
Yeah.
In the past, they dibbled and dabbled.
Right.
And you hear them saying, well, I tried it, but it didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
And if they only understood how important and how much money they're leaving on the table,
Right. Yeah.
it's
And that's
no-brainer at this point.
And I think that's one of the problems with our industry is that it's so filled with like the snake oil salespeople, like that term that you remember, when you grow up and your parents will like tell you that story about the snake oil salesman that comes to town selling all these people this snake oil that helps to make their joints better and da 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 da. It's kind of like going to a fair, a carnival, and they're telling those rubber bracelets and like your balance is better with this rubber bracelet. And I think that problem in our industry creates this bad taste in their mouths, so that when you then approach someone like, hey, it doesn't look like you're doing much with your SEO stuff, and they're like, oh, we've already tried it. And it's because they already tried some ding dong that didn't do it the right way.
You've dealt with it too. I mean,
I see it all the time. And so now there's this shift happening, and me and you with our existing clients, we're shifting them into this new model. We're saying, okay, hey, for generative engine optimization, if you look at this graphic again, or this graphic, get cited in AI answers. So what does that even mean? Well, it means this. Back in traditional, you search a term. Let's just use restaurants because that's an easy one because everybody goes out to eat.
Right. It is.
Great Italian restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona, because let's say you're taking a trip there and you're trying to find a place nearby.
And here we go.
And you usually would go onto Google and you'd search it, and then you'd look at all the links. Now,
how many would you even look at?
Right, exactly. First
3.
few.
Your attention would be on the first 3 because those would be the ones that Google's putting there, or they bought their spot there, whatever the case may be.
So now there's this new thing that's called an AI overview that is showing up, and it's all the platforms are doing it. ChatGPT is just giving you this overview. Gemini on Google search now uses Gemini to give that overview.
Right.
And it's basically trying to do the work for you. So it's trying to do a traditional SEO search and find the top 10 links.
Right.
And then it's trying to analyze each one of those links to figure out
who
enough
talks
about the business.
More,
It's looking at reviews, the keywords. It's looking at the link authority. It's looking where else it's cited.
And then it throws your name of your business out because...
Yes. So understanding that part, how do I get cited? It's called being cited in the overview. Understanding how to get cited is really critical. Or you're not going to show up.
Well, isn't it that I hear that... LinkedIn, which is changed their whole platform on that whole situation, leading to this situation, is LinkedIn is taking on a new role in this because they're working along with these AIs.
Yeah.
And another thing that nobody's really talking about either is YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, big.
They're watching. They're pulling
YouTube?
their names. Yeah.
Because who owns YouTube? Google.
exactly.
So Google has the largest index of video
don't
content.
shut us down, Google. Don't ban us.
Right, yeah. But they own YouTube, and they're using all of the data from YouTube long form, but more importantly, the shorts. And the reason why it's the shorts, because like some people just don't get it, is because shorts are more real time. So there are shorts made daily versus maybe videos, long form videos. Like if you look at all of the clients in Mojave County,
right?
How many of them have a YouTube video that they've posted on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis?
Can we get them to even post on social media at all?
But so Shorts gives more of a real time, because people who do use Shorts, like that content is being used in those AI overviews as a real time data because it's posted more frequently. So yeah, getting into like things like Reddit, if you're like a certain type of businesses, like Reddit articles that talk about you, the LLMs are searching that, they're reading that as a reason to cite. Google reviews is a big one, which we'll talk about kind of more deeply, because we do a lot of Google review stuff, because it is like still to this day, besides Yelp, the only true transparent voice of the customer feature that allows for an LLM to get data from outside of the company itself talking about itself. So like if I have a website, I can say whatever I want. I'm number one in this and that and this.
I'm killing it.
I can then go on a blog and create a blog about me being number one. I can then go create YouTube videos about me being number one. This is all self-created, so that really, it's pretty biased. Now, if I then have hundreds of customers who are using those same keywords of the services that I offer, saying that I'm number one in my area or my thing, now it's got truth outside of my own voice.
Right.
And it's going to use that in the Cited AI stuff.
So get your friends and family to give you guys a review.
Friends, family, and customers.
Yeah.
Have a proactive strategy.
Yeah, definitely. Have something there that they can put over their phone and give you right there. I mean, not to be pushy, but sometimes you got to be pushy.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to that, how was your visit? Please give us a review. Here's a little thing.
You do. You have to. I call it a proactive versus reactive.
Walking them all the way into it.
You have to have,
just like you do a sale,
a legitimate proactive strategy. You cannot have a fingers crossed, hope that you did a good job strategy, because that doesn't work.
Because you're going to get more keyboard warriors, is what I call them.
You will always do.
Then you will the ones that really enjoyed your.
Well, and the problem is it's not a 1-for-1 battle. So it's not one bad review takes out one good. One bad takes out what they estimate around 10 of the good. So for every one bad, 10 good go away, which means if you don't have a proactive strategy, you're not going to get them. And it's because the bad reviews are from people whose expectation wasn't met. So they went in and their expectation wasn't met, which causes this boost in their brain and some hormone that says that I need to react, and they're going to leave you a bad review. Now, if they come in looking for good Italian food because they've read that you have good food, their expectation is they're going to have a good meal. So when you meet it, even though it was a good meal, good service, it's not creating some misalignment of their expectation, so they don't take action to leave a good review. It's weird.
Well, most people don't even think about giving a review anyway when
because it's just not part of their normal routine. It's like they went there, they had an expectation. Now, if someone then
met my expectations and I left happy, I don't have to put it all over social media. That's the big thing is I don't want to put it all over social media. I'm not that guy or that girl who does that. But
having a proactive strategy just kind of ensures that you're getting enough of the positives, because you're really creating this environment to, hey, we would love to get your feedback. Here you go.
It just goes down this funnel. You got to keep,
and then you can battle off the negatives from it. It's more of a defensive mechanism than anything else. But the actual ROI, the revenue to a business going from below fold under the top 10 to into that top 10 to into the top 5.
That's not even now. That's
exponential.
That was 3 years ago.
Right.
ChatGPT is taking it.
Yeah, these overviews. If you're not mentioning it.
Yeah, all of them are going, boop, this is the guy that you want to see.
Yeah.
And this is
Don't
the guy.
Look anywhere else.
It was the louder. Yeah, it's the louder. Now, what I've seen on some of these, now they're throwing the main one they want to throw out. And then they throw three little links at the bottom. They weren't doing that before, but now they're starting to give you a little bit of...
because people would go somewhere else to search. So they found that people were bouncing off their platform to look elsewhere for more options. People like to have options. They just don't want to be overwhelmed with them, That's why being in that first page of Google is so important, is that people don't want to take the time to continue to look farther down the hole. They just think that every single click down or every scroll down is a worse option.
Well,
it's like
every click is not getting you the sale either, because the less is best. I mean, when it comes to that ordeal.
Yep. So GEO generative, so basically the strategy behind that is similar to the old way of SEO strategies, which is creating content yourself, like I talked about, having an active website, active social, using things like LinkedIn, using things like Reddit if you can, posting regularly, having reviews that are actively happening, sharing these reviews publicly as well, and then also finding other people or places and things to mention your website also, so that you're getting credibility pushed to you. Chambers of commerce, vendors that you work with. One of your customers owns a landscaping company.
Right.
You're a restaurant, they're a landscaper. Who gives a crap? Have them put like, hey, check out my Visit Mesa restaurants list on my landscaping company site. Here's one of the restaurants that we suggest you go to.
It's just teaming up with each other. It's
telling these LLMs that you're valid and you're legit, and if you're doing all these things, you're going to show in the overview. And that's what you need, And as we
now, when you get to that point, when you're throwing out the content, AI content, or do you organic?
Right.
Am
That's
I
a
saying
good
that
point.
right? Or
Yeah.
Original or
made up stuff.
Fake stuff.
And that's going to be part of this discussion, is the AI slop part, and like, how do you decipher it? What's going to be important?
It's easy.
Yeah, it is.
Honestly, it's gotten to where they can almost post things, like businesses can post things, but they're starting to look a lot like the same. So now you're going to lose scroll and visibility.
Yep.
There's the word.
And then here's one last little part of the GEO. Okay, so here's the top 6 signals that matter most for this year for GEO. It's entity authority over keyword density. Google prioritizes entities over exact matches. So the old days of keyword stuffing and all this other crap doesn't work anymore. You need to have a legitimate business that is being mentioned elsewhere, not just yourself. Topical depth and coverage. A lot of times when I see people that have a website, they'll have a single page with no other information on it, very little information about what their business is, and it's not deep enough where Google doesn't look at it as like enough information to give legitimacy to that business. So making sure that you have depth of coverage of what you're talking about. Citation-worthy formatting, making sure that the formatting, that's another thing, LLMs are reading this stuff.
Right.
Making sure that it's correctly formatted on the website, that it's simple. That a lot of times an easy way to kind of do that is using an FAQ section on your website, where it's like you're asking the frequently asked question.
I'm not a website guy, but you got your
answer. Yeah, that's my thing. Passage level optimization. Again, these are just Google evaluates passages, not just pages. So writing in structured data. So when it talks about that, it's talking about like H1s, those big bold header areas. There is the title, and then a H2, which is a subtitle, which gives context to the title, and then a standard paragraph, which then fully explains what the H1 and 2 meant. And having structure makes the LLMs easier for it to read it. So when someone it's just like traditional SEO in a sense. When someone is searching using a key term, your page is really easily read, and it can just give you back the overview. Excuse me.
Did not know.
Yeah, this little stuff like that it does go a long way. And a lot of people who do DIY their websites, like using Wix and other things, they end up not knowing some of these basic architecture things, and they end up struggling, and they don't get ranked as well because of it.
Okay, so old or new websites.
Right.
Because that's a big situation when it comes to those. If we're going to go down a little bit of a website, the old was kind of like, here we are, here's our story, and these are some of our pictures, and this is our staff. Those are the ordinary rundown.
Yeah.
Nowadays they don't. I don't know if it's a fact or not, but I like running. Say I'm doing a campaign, an ad on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case would be. Where am I going to lead that person to? I'm going to lead them to the place where the content that I'm trying to sell goes to it. So now it goes to a website, but the website has the information on everything I'm trying to say. As they back out, they're going to see the website. Now you're creating this experience, easy, flowing experience about the product they got involved in. Anyway, did I go down a rabbit hole there?
No, I mean, it's true though. I mean, the reason why I think that I always believe that a website will be continually extremely important, even in the next 2 to 3 years, which is like hard to kind of forecast what's going to happen with AI. But
because AI is making websites now.
It is making websites.
Yeah, I'm kind of playing with it just to see how it works out. I've come up with, they kind of look like GoDaddy ones right now.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm not prompting it properly enough to get it.
Being a prompt pro is going to be a big
That's
thing.
a big thing nowadays. Prompt pro.
I think that the websites are always going to be like, to me, like the source of truth to a business. And so like to me, that's where like, you know, like for example, I can create a website for any company out there, that's for sure.
Right.
But it's more likely that someone's going to create a Facebook page or an Instagram page for someone else's business.
Right.
And all of a sudden you have someone representing your business there really anonymously. And I think that having a website where it's your domain, it's verified, and it's the domain that's listed everywhere, your Google business profile, which is attached, all your social channels that are attached, I think it gives legitimacy. It gives like the source of truth. You know, like, what's the actual phone number? Trust. You're building that trust.
Building the trust. I mean, the trust experience and overall outcome is.
I think that's critical, you know, and it's going to continue to be critical with AI because the amount and the volume of AI slop that can be created, including AI websites, emails, spam, everything is going to be growing at such a level that to have the truth and the actual originality and the real source of it, like that verify check on everything that you're creating out there is going to be really important. So a website's kind of like a starting point.
Well, it helps people familiarize themselves. Look at me with big words, everybody. No, familiarize yourself with it.
Yeah.
And they start, maybe they saw something on Facebook or one of the platforms, and here they go, okay, let's go check them out. They look at your page. They'll go to your website. Now, going down that area, your website better look a little bit modern.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, if it looks like garbage, this is where you just threw money on that. Out the door because you never let them down a continuous path. The website's just outdated. It looks outdated.
Yeah.
The buttons are not working. Drag time is crazy.
God, I hate that.
I mean, once the drag time kicks in, I'm out. I'm out.
You wait for 5-6 seconds. You're like, is this site even here?
I mean, I know my stuff is good. I got 5 bars.
Right. So speaking of visibility, let's get into AI slop. Are you ready? Okay. All right. AI slop time. So it's really simple. It's a term used, and here's the actual definition. I think there is a definition. AI slop refers to the explosion, and this is the key, of low-effort, mass-produced AI content, graphics, articles, and videos generated quickly.
You haven't seen it?
I see it every 20 seconds in my feed.
Yeah.
And it all looks the same.
Do you stop and read it? Do you look at it?
I know.
Because it looks the same as the last one I passed.
As soon as you see something that you recognize as something, you dismiss it. Your brain is like, that's what it is. As soon as you know it's an ad and you know it's not something you're interested in, you just don't even care about it. You know, it's like driving by billboards on the highway. You don't care. Yeah. So, you know, and it says the result is an internet increasingly filled with content that looks and sounds the same. So that's the definition of AI slop.
They told us way back when that this was, when AI started coming out, it was going to be a problem because people were asking it simple questions. Give you a key to the car.
Right.
They start asking it more personal questions like, hey, AI, you are an executive chef. I want you to use your best marketing skills to create this ad. This is what's within the content or that I've created. It will ship out. I go, and hey, let's put another key in. Give me 4 variations I can look at to see which one would best fit for my audience because it's not going to pick your audience. Maybe you can get deeper into it. I've never gotten that deep in it.
Well, most people don't. So like, and that's the difference between using AI to create AI slop and then using AI to help you strategize your content creation. Well, 2 very different things. The strategizing of content creation takes literally homework. It takes preparation, organization. It takes your data, your target market. It takes a lot to fill it with the information and then prompt it the way you need it to be prompted to then be your kind of like helper. This is what everybody else does. Create, da-da-da-da. They don't put in any preparation or homework or time, and they get something that looks the same as everybody else's. It's using some, serifed, italicized,
The dropping
T-shirt, airbrush looking thing with a lot of drop shadows and cartoony characters that are. It's literally like it's the same prompt.
You actually know that I wouldn't mind that stuff back in the 80s when I was making posters.
It looks like T-shirts and posters.
Right.
If you took it now, if you took any of these graphics and you threw it back 10 years, man, people would be like, "Holy cow, who you got doing your art?"
You're right.
You know, is that Derek Pacino, the guy from Rickety Cricket? Like, wow, you guys have a professional artist doing this.
Right.
This stuff looks great 10 years ago.
Right.
But when you have billions of pieces of this surfing the Facebook and Instagram and everywhere, it becomes literally slop.
Now we moved to here and it just becomes slop.
So what's happened is content explosion. It's making it easier, but it's not always a good thing. Easier is not. It's because it's now polluting the feeds with all this crap, and it makes it harder for individuals like me, who's a consumer, to know the differences between brands because they look the same. Just because your logo is different on that little slop piece doesn't mean that it's standing out to me.
No,
because it's the color palettes are the same, the fonts are the same. So they're basically making it worse for themselves. They're getting a piece of what they think looks good, but now
they think it looks wonderful, and it's creating sales. It's horrible. It's not. It's not creating any sales by far. I mean, that's like going, hey, here's my high school employee. She says she's worked with ChatGPT. She can do these kind of cool pictures. Blah, blah, blah. Let's make her run my 6-digit business on social media where she has no idea anything except making stuff or creating stuff through a ChatGPT.
Yeah. It sucks, let me see. I think there was a good article from The Verge. Because apparently that link didn't work. That's okay. Well, I'll find another one. Hundreds of creators warned against. Well, there's one right there. Right here. So like this one was this one came out in the beginning of the year, a couple months ago, and it was basically saying that there's 800 artists and writers and actors and musicians. They're all worried about this grand scale slop, because that's the other thing. So when we say like, oh, there's slop, and you're putting your brand and you're looking the same as everybody else, what you're also not realizing is that AI has to learn from somewhere, and it's learning from existing copyrighted art, copyrighted music, copyrighted likenesses. And so what's happening is there will eventually be litigation happening about people using their style of art that is copyrighted in slop. And so you don't want to get yourself tangled into it. If you start depending on it and it's your primary source of your content, your graphic content, then, and also that's another good point.
So let's throw it this way. Would you rather have AI or organic?
Right. Organic for sure.
I can take a picture of a hamburger and make it look really good.
Yeah.
You'll get more pulls from that.
Yeah.
Now everybody worries about the likes and the views, and actually, that's not. It's the reach. How many people you're reaching? Your views. Oh, I had 1 million views last week. I go, did it create a sale?
Right.
Well, I don't know.
Right. Well, yeah, you should know if you had 1 million.
Should
know. It's an actual issue with basically the algorithm changing from when TikTok blew up. When TikTok went through, they call it the hockey stick, which was it had this explosion of users. It was because they created an algorithm that was interest graphed versus follower graph.
Right.
And the interest graph, though, is not as geo restricted as your follower graph, because your followers are typically local, right?
Right.
So if you're a pizzeria, you're a pet hospital, your followers are from your area, and they follow your page intentionally because they want to be updated from you as a company.
Right.
Well, that's the way it was. And then TikTok came around and said, you know what? Let's make this about interest, which means if someone likes a picture of an orange cat here in Phoenix, Arizona, or Kingman, Arizona, or Havasu, and there's a guy that always seems to like orange cats in Wisconsin, we're going to show that same video to him because it's going to keep him on our platform longer. And that's all they care about. They don't care about your page.
No.
They care about content to keep him hooked.
They don't care
watching orange cats all day.
They don't care about anything except money right now.
Correct.
It used to be free.
Everybody
still, and some people still think it's free. It's not free anymore.
No,
it's not.
The algorithm shift caused
after the big C.
Yep.
It flipped it. It made a big flip.
Well, and so it created this chase for the viral trends.
That's what TikTok ended up doing.
TikTok turned everything into that. Meta obviously looked at it like, shoot, our creators are bouncing and going to this other platform because they're getting millions and millions of views and getting paid more, but they're getting paid on worldwide views from interest graphs. They're not actually helping businesses. So content creators creating content about random stuff, not caring about localized businesses, it was perfect.
Right.
But man, for that pizzeria in Kingman, Arizona, or that whatever it is, localized, it needs help locally. When they turned off the follower graph to interest graph and they didn't
it just went flat. Everybody went flat.
It hurt everybody.
They're like, oh, why? I'm only getting two views or
I'm getting 2 likes and 10 views. What is this? Yeah.
It's only they're only shipping out. Okay, I'm a business. I've been in business. I got 1,200 followers. You're only going to get like 2.5%.
Mm-hmm.
They even see it in their feed, and if they don't respond to it, 2.5 out of 1,500.
And that's if you're lucky. You know, that's if you're lucky you get that. You know, we actually on the B is just as an example because it's just a bigger page, so it's like to me it's like a really good litmus test, like what's going on. Is that we actually
we've
get
kind of
more,
experienced over the years with it. We
get more views literally from non-followers than followers.
That's important.
And if that doesn't, which is a good thing, is it's showing your stuff to people that wouldn't maybe necessarily see it. But it also is one of those things where, well, are these people local? And it's harder to find where they're from because iOS couple years ago changed its privacy policies on how apps track.
Right.
And it blocked the app tracking. And Zuckerberg went through the roof, but there's nothing he could do because basically all of the reporting of where someone is no longer accessible, you know, to where it's being viewed because the privacy policies restricted it.
So you're basically, well, I don't know, maybe I didn't turn it off my new iPhone, but I mean, if I go into Vegas or say we did take a trip to California, as soon as we went into California, I start getting California hits automatically.
It'll still give your anonymous location, but it doesn't give any of your personal
But
it doesn't
still, it's getting it once you pass a state line. It was doing it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of unique and kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, here's some news. Let's see where we're going to go with this.
Right.
And then they just spin it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So AI Slop, it's a problem.
It's a problem.
It makes you it basically
doing
kind of
that's all I got to say.
Well, the bullet points are in a sense it's you're going to make yourself look like everyone else. And in business, you have to know by now
you have
if you're
to
in
stand
business.
out.
It's all about differentiation. It's why am I mean, and it's I know we want to be kumbaya, but at the end of the day, it's why am I better? Why should you choose me over my competitors? And what makes me different and special and unique that you will appreciate and that you wouldn't have gotten elsewhere. Now, if everything you're seeing on a feed is the same, there's no differentiation.
There's no trust in it.
So how can you
There's no trust in the
differentiate?
brand, period.
No.
You can't.
And also people know you're using some cheap, crappy AI slop.
You're being lazy.
Yeah, like lazy and cheap.
What is the floor is dirty? Are you bad service there?
Right.
I mean, those are the impressions that you're going to get when you see slop.
I don't know how many people who are watching or listening have ever kind of judged a restaurant on its bathroom, but like, you know, back when I used to work in a restaurant 21 years,
I worked with some cool
22,
people
23 years
cool
ago.
bathrooms.
I remember the guy that was the franchise owner for the restaurant I worked for, it was a restaurant chain, national chain. He was the former vice president of Applebee's. So he was a real executive level dude. And I remember every time he would come to any of the restaurants when I was in them and I would see him walking in, first thing he did, he went to the bathroom. I used to just think because he drove around to the restaurants a lot. I'm like, he's just taking a pee break. No, he actually always goes into the restaurant. He comes unannounced and he wants to check to make sure that restroom is spotless. Like every 15 minutes, there is a manager that does a walkthrough or a floor manager or an assistant manager or a GM. Every 15 minutes, that bathroom is checked. Not even a paper towel on the floor that missed the trash can. We're talking, he wants it clean. And he's like, and then one day I was just asking him questions because he would come in, he would do that, and then he would go sit at the bar, he'd have a Knob Creek, you know, whiskey or bourbon or something like that, and he would talk to one of the other guys, and I asked him, I was just like, so do you always just visit the bathroom right when you get to the restaurant just to kind of like check it out, or is it because you're driving a lot? And he's like, this is why. He's like, because the bathroom represents the cleanliness of the kitchen. He's like, so if you go to a restaurant and you go to the restroom and you notice that it's dirty, we're not talking dirty like someone just had been in there and made it dirty, but there is legitimate mold, mildew, dirt that's been there for weeks.
Get it? Yep.
He's like, then they're not hard cleaning that kitchen. He's like, and I want to be able to eat in the bathroom.
If the bathroom ain't clean, the rest of the restaurant ain't.
Yeah.
It's just
so
poor,
I look at visibility, going back to our buzzword,
right,
as being what is their first impression of you as a business? Usually in today's age, it's online. It's on the internet. Right. It is, and where does that mean? It's either your website, it's your AI overview in Gemini, which is pulling from your website, it's your Facebook page, it's your Instagram, it's your LinkedIn. They're seeing you, and that impression is either going to be, it looks like the rest, it looks unprofessional, it looks like it's a dirty bathroom, and I don't want to go.
It's slop.
And that's why it's called AI Slop.
So
anyway. I think it's something we need to focus on, like as businesses, and that's why, with what we do, we use AI for sure.
And I think even
but we don't overuse it.
No.
We take the time to differentiate.
You know what I use it for? The funny thing is
fixing little things.
No, not even fixing little things. I used the slop. I actually use the slop, and I don't use it all the time.
Every once in a while for fun.
I put it on those independent women, happy birthday. There's nothing wrong with even a little slop, but don't use it as your main course.
Your primary thing, right? Yeah. You get Johnny, the assistant in your office, and that's all he does is put out AI Slop and answer phones. Like, hire a professional. You don't want that. You don't want that to represent.
Or at least find someone that you can trust with your company.
Yeah.
Not an employee.
Right. So local angle, let's see. AI makes
That's like handing your business over to somebody. Here's the keys to my business.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose me tons of money and I don't even get it.
Yep.
But anyway.
Yep. No, it's true. No, I agree. All right. Let me see about another angle here. So we went AI Slop.
Where are we?
Right in here. That was the GEO stuff, LLM optimization, the stuff that we kind of talked about.
Look at you kind of buzzed through this. We went through business angles.
We pretty much.
Audience, but we're nailing trends and topics, social media rules and AI discovery. I mean, we've kind of touched.
I think we kind of hit on everything.
I mean, come on, give me some more.
Yeah, I mean,
use all the material you can get.
Let me see what this one is.
You don't have to be back for another month.
Let me see if this
is going to have some.
I know, yeah. We're going to have, I think the next episode, we'll try to use some clips of like some AI people, or not AI, but marketing people that we follow, so people can understand, like, here's some resources.
This is where we're introducing ourselves to, and a key to the car is here. Listen to these guys. These guys are very good at what they do.
Oh, here's some good stuff. So here's kind of the AI search for local businesses. Like, this is kind of where we're going to end at, just because we're local, right?
Right.
So, and then I like this where it says, imagine a tourist asking AI, where should I eat in Lake Havasu tonight? And we all remember the old search ways. That's exactly what it wouldn't maybe be as contextual. It's actually funny. It's like back when we do search, it's like restaurants Lake Havasu City or restaurants near me. But people talk to AI almost more like it's a person.
Right.
So like, where should I eat? What's a good place that has ribs in Lake Havasu?
I'm coming through.
Yeah.
Kingman, where would be the place I find the best burger?
Yep.
And here it goes. It will.
Certainly when you name certain items, and so here's
they like those because
it's specific and it can find specific information about it. So AI might recommend one restaurant, not 10 results. So that's big, and it says that means that the one winner and there's 9 invisible competitors. So the discussion really is how can you appear in these answers? So one of the things, since we're sharing the screen, I'm going to kind of show. And this is an example of Notivos. This is the software that I have that my company runs. And actually, you know what would be even cooler, though, would be to actually bring up my dashboard here.
Actually, talking about bathrooms, I work with a couple of companies that they have more pictures of their bathroom than they do of the whole property. So, Topak 66, I'm seeing you. So big old lips.
Oh yeah, I know. That's true though. I mean, viral, right?
I see that all the time. Anyway,
so this is a piece of software this is something that we use for all of our clients. It's included. They don't pay for it. It's something that was something I talked about using. I started having a review platform forever ago, and I finally kind of built it into this really robust tool. But this is a good example.
Because you're a brainy like that.
I'm geeky, and like when I see there's a problem, I try to figure out ways to solve it. I usually can find tools out in the world and I pay for those tools, but sometimes those tools are missing little components that I think are important. So I started working with developers, which I used to think, and it used to be really expensive. Developers were crazy, man. You couldn't get anything done for under $5,000 to $10,000. And with AI, since AI can amplify their output and what they do, they are less expensive now, which is really nice because they're using these tools that can deploy things much quicker, doesn't take as many lines of code manually. So this is an example of basically taking...
You just got geeky on us.
Yeah, I got a little geeky, but this is a really cool thing. And,
Go for it.
And you'll see the relevance. Okay, so this is a tool that basically just pulls in all the reviews. But one of the things that's really neat is I have this thing called Talisman Agent. What Talisman Agent does, okay, is it allows you, see how it says SEO agent, okay? What it does is it gives you this ability, see where the keywords are here?
Yep.
Okay. So basically it gives you the ability to add in keywords into the AI automated reply to the review. So basically what this tool does is, let's say you go eat...
kind of helping it's helping it scrape things for...
Correct. No, this is 100% follows what the LLMs are trying to do. They're looking at the reviews, and they're looking at not only the verbiage in the review, but the reply.
I wouldn't have to work so hard putting keywords in all the time.
Exactly.
You know.
So I'm going to show you an example of this, right? So you can see, so here's the keywords: best restaurant in Havasu, pizza Lake Havasu, and best happy hour Lake Havasu. This system automatically replies to customers who leave a review. And it knows that those are my 3 focal keyword phrases that I wanted to have in there. Okay.
Right.
So I'm now going to show you the most recent reviews. This is all real time, which is kind of cool. Here was a review that was left on the 16th, so 3 days ago. The person said, wanted to try burgers and fries. The smash burger patty ratio to bun was a bit thin, so I suggested double. The Parmesan fries, yummy, the perfect proportion. The kicker was unique flavor of the margarita. Okay, so that person mentioned a bunch of things, right?
Right.
So let's look at how this review responded automatically with keywords. Thank you so much for the awesome feedback. We're glad you enjoyed the smash burger, Parmesan fries, and the unique margarita. Brandy, we're thrilled to hear your shout out. Hope to see you again for another round at the best happy hour Lake Havasu. It literally incorporated the keywords that I told it to try to phrase back in, so that when someone is typing in best smash burger in Lake Havasu City or best happy hour Lake Havasu, that is being indexed by the LLMs. Okay, so this is a tool that
you're doing it with the tool. I'm doing it through phrases. Yeah, doing it through the phrases through the social media itself.
Oh yeah, and that's perfect too.
I mean, it's
do
easier.
all of them, and then you're really going to win.
You're really going to come out.
Yeah.
The loudest one wins in this game right now.
That's
if you're quiet, sitting on the sideline saying, "I'm going to make some slop," I'm just going to kind of oh, I got a couple of revenue, and then all of a sudden, everything drops.
Right.
And I'm saying things are. Way it's going right now, like 2 years. If you're not getting some of this out there,
oh, for sure.
I just feel sorry for some.
Yeah, it's a
I actually feel sorry for some of them because they really tried. They got discouraged, and now they don't want to go back, or they've been told by an agency they can do it, and they failed at doing it. So there's a lot of that going on too at the same time.
Yeah.
So and all it does is hurt the local business. Anyway.
And replying to reviews is important. A lot of people don't, right? So here's an example of one, right? So with Jersey. So one thing I found is that people clients that I had taken over, and I'm starting to work with them, holy cow, you've got freaking 900 reviews, but you haven't replied to any. You've only replied to like 50.
Right.
What's wrong? Why didn't you reply to the other ones? I don't have time. We hear that so much. So I built into this, well, I didn't build it in, but my devs built in a reply to past reviews feature. So now, and you can see it right here. Okay, so this is called reply to past reviews. Google has a max of 5 per day, or it believes you're a bot. Or actually, I think theirs is closer to 10, but we didn't want to even get close to their ratio of margin.
Right.
So this is literally responding to 5 reviews every single day of old reviews that have never been responded to, and it will do it until June 13th. It'll finish 581 former reviews. Another, again, free service. Like this is going every single day and doing those 5 reviews with the keywords. Like these are the things that take a business that's been kind of like putting along, they're putting along and they don't really know what to do with this stuff. And you can take a lot of load off their back like this. Replying to reviews is already a load off their back.
I can do it myself.
Replying to old reviews is a load off their back.
I can do it myself.
They never do.
They never do, and it's time, you got to really look at this.
And that's why we even built in ranking and competitors, so like our goal with this particular company is that we need to, this is bad. You know, where they're sitting currently in their area, 21. Right. They're so far down the list. So here's where they are, right? They're right here. Here's the market leaders. They're just so far, but to get ahead, we have to have more positive reviews. We have to reply to reviews, and it's going to take time, and it's not instantaneous.
I mean, most of them do. I mean, you can set up some of your social media to answer basic stuff for you.
Oh, yeah.
But it all leads, I mean, it all leads here too.
It all leads to like where they want to be, you know? Like, I mean, I remember one time I was meeting with a client and I remember asking them, because like it's important that I know their goals, you know?
Right.
Like,
well,
what's your goal? You want to have like 5 of these businesses, or do you want to expand your market to, you know, like we're in Kingman right now. Do you want to go to Bullhead and Havasu? And I
look at those questions, and I go at them too, but I'm like, you know what? You're going to make me want to get to that goal. So therefore, give me
what's your goal?
What's your goal?
You ready? You ready for the answer I got back? I haven't really thought of it. I don't know. I think I'm probably busy enough. I don't really need to get much more busy. Oh my gosh,
you know.
And then I'm just like, well, what the heck, you know?
Get some more money on the table for your competitor.
Right, yeah, and then it's like, well, I'm like, so you know, you don't really want to grow, and then the next question I had was, well, so you don't have a website right now, you know, like why do I need a website? Why don't you have one? And then the partner of the person says, which was a wife,
right?
I don't think we really need one. We just have Facebook. And I remember thinking...
That's the old thinking, though, back then.
And it's so sad because it's like they're just getting started and they're already like on their way to failing.
Right.
And there's only so much I can do. You know, I can only advise and consult, but like I can't change people's mindset. You know, I can't change their motivation.
You can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it. That's how I feel about when I walk out of a meeting like that.
So, you know, I think that with buzzwords and like visibility, understanding visibility is like understanding like, hey, you know, like if you're a small business and you're located in Mojave County, because that's pretty much what we work with. You know, I have some in Mesa. And
I have 1 and 2 in California.
So we have a couple a little bit farther away. So even those markets, and everything that we said is something that you're not utilizing, you're not working with yet, you don't know enough about, reach out to us.
Yeah, we're easy.
We're super easy, and we know a lot because this is all we do. You know, so we're literally completely...
We tend to geek out too sometimes. I mean, Steve's the more talker, I'm the more geeky.
Yeah, you know, and it's good though because it's like, you know, it's nice to know you have a super geek in your corner, you know, like that's running that stuff. So that you, if you're a plumber or a welder or an electrician or a restaurateur, you could focus on that. You could focus on table visits to your guests, making sure they're having a good experience, while you know that you have a super geek in your corner that's making sure your social media is working as it should and your SEO and GEO are working as they should. Like, but you need to have these things to succeed, and the cost of not having them outweighs the cost of having them, in the sense that the cost of retaining services from people that know what they're doing. Our goal is a 5x deal. So if we're going to if I charge you $100 for something, I want to generate $500 in business. If it's $500, it's $2,500. If it's $1,000, it's $5,000. Our goal is 5x, and the reason why it has to be 5x is because the margins of the world work in that ratio. Just like a restaurant, if their burger costs $2 to put the burger on the plate, it should be priced at $10. That's a 5x margin. So we operate the same way. Like, we need to give you 5x in return. And it's not going to happen in 30 days. It's going to happen with a deployed plan over time. You will get to that level, and then we can help maintain it, but you don't want to fall off.
And the key thing is when you just said that, it's like we come in and we're going to have to learn your audience.
Oh, for sure.
Each individual company or whatever, I've learned, it has their own audience, and they listen and they watch a certain way. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you got to do a little bit of testing with your content and kind of see where they're going to grab and where they're not. Now, I mean, I'm not saying it. I've come up with enough on the back end that I can tell in your analytics, because I read them and put it out there, that you are making sales, even though you don't know it.
Right.
You're only going to know it at the end of the month where, hey, I got an extra 10%. Mm-hmm. Where did that come from? And they won't even think about us.
Yeah.
Half the time, they don't. Maybe my social media is working for me, you know. Or
right.
What I believe, I'm not a social media specialist. I am a profit engineer.
Oh, I like that. There you go. Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, we're just creating content to create profit for them and being able to afford it. It's boils down to their budget.
Yeah, and and one thing I think that, and you probably dealt with it too, is that it's understanding. Yeah, the profit engineering is that in a market. Luckily, like with us, like we work with a lot of different types of clients, right? So you can have a restaurant and bar, you can have a like a wellness person, you can have an electrician. I have so many different ones, like from every walk of life.
Oh my gosh!
That when seasons change and the economy changes and political things are happening and there's like just changes in the world affect business. And it's so interesting when a client isn't seeing maybe a good result in a period of downtime, and when they're like, well, I expected it to be, I expected to be going up and up and up, and we had a down month. And it's like, well, did you know that although your business is maybe a restaurant or bar, or it's you're an electrician, but did you know that every 16 other industries that I work with are all having the same downturn? And when you actually pull data
a lot of times if I go to a client and they're like, I'm hearing that all the way around.
You have to look at things holistically.
Not only in the restaurant, but you're like your local DJ, so I can see your stuff.
People out.
I see them in or out, and you can actually see it happening, and it's all around. Right now, it's all everybody, specialties, everything. I mean, restaurants, they're struggling a little bit because people just don't want to spend the money to go out, or they just don't have it right now.
Right.
So there is a downside to all of it. Yeah. I wanted to leave you a note. I wanted to say something, but you got me running on that.
Sorry. I was going to say, what do you think the next? When do you think? How long do you think that white collar work is going to be around? Like, do you think how long do you think we have as professional marketers? Do you think it's
already gone?
Do you think it's one to? It's not gone. We're still here.
We're creators.
Do you think one to three? Creators. 1 to 3, 3 to 5, or 5 plus? Like
no, it's going to happen within the next 2-3 years. I mean,
under 3.
Yeah, because even as creators, we know we're using AI to help us do some of the tasks.
Right.
Now, I always believe this is where I'm going to back on that Slop stuff. I always believe that you made the content, the content that goes out, because you know the audience,
right,
and you know the business owner. So I'm going to put that out. Where was I going with that?
Well, I think that you'll still need boots on the ground for what we do if we do it right.
Right.
So I think that social media is going to go out 2 ways. I think that AI Slop is going to dominate a whole freaking layer
of it.
But I think that, and I was telling you this earlier when we took a break,
I
think that there's going to be a human-only platform. Ooh. I don't know if Meta is going to decide to, which I don't know if they would because they have an LLM, but I can tell you this, that if there is a platform to come out, and I remember actually Gary Vee talked about a platform that he thought was a good idea, and it was something kind of similar, but remember that app? I don't know if people use it anymore, where you had to take a picture at certain times of the day or something.
Right.
What the hell was that called? Do you remember? So there was something that he mentioned.
There's an app for everything.
I know, right? But and I don't know if that's still around or not. But I think there is going to be a point where either a new platform will need to exist and emerge, and then it'll most likely get bought out by the big guys. But where it's humans only, and if the content is detected as AI, you're banned for life. Like Disneyland bringing in a weapon. You know, like literally, like it's a harsh rule. And guess what? They have low crime. They have low defiant people because you don't want to get banned from life from there, right? So I think that there's going to be something that happens
where... Why don't you create it?
It'll just take too much time and energy and money. And I'm sure it'll do really good, but I think that, but I think it's going to happen. And so I think also needing pictures and videos of real people, real places in real time
is going
to still exist for marketing. And because social media, remember how it started, right?
It was social media. We were talking to my friends and family.
When you look at the biggest guys, Facebook, let's say.
Right.
They started with a .edu. Right.
They
had to have a why did they do that? Well, they wanted it to be exclusive, just like
the movie.
Like the movie, right?
Anyway, I'm just
buy my MySpace. But what they did is they created something that made it to where you had to have a personal connection, in a sense, to even get involved in the layer, because you had to invite. I don't even remember that. You had to be invited to or to friend somebody, and like you had to know them to know them.
Trust me. So
I think we're going to get back to that. I think we're going to get back. I think people are going to go so sick of this slop crap, and knowing that there's not an A.
Are they really reading the?
I think that we're going to have another thing. There's going to be a new emergent thing,
right?
That's going to happen where it's like. It's going to be like live. It's going to be like streaming. Imagine every kitchen in America.
That's a whole different subject.
It's got streaming content happening and streaming content on the patios and you can have a stream. You can imagine going
live streaming is already
going into
look at speed.
Here's a cool idea. Imagine going into like Topak 66, which you work with. Imagine showing up there and there's this huge 90-inch TV with a webcam, and the webcam is in like Switzerland that day, and it changes every freaking day to a different bar in a different country around the world, and that you're streaming and you can actually go up to the screen and you can say hi and you can say things and it translates it back to them and whatever.
Didn't they try that in New York?
Talk
and they were
about
flashing
social media.
Was it New York flashing Australia or something anyway?
I don't know.
Doing inappropriate things.
Oh, there might be some of that.
Yeah,
they might have real-time blur. Maybe they'll have a 3-second delay or something. I don't know. But like, I think that people are craving real social connection again because it's gotten so stupid over time that I think that something needs to happen.
I truly
and I think
believe
that'll keep us busy because not everybody can grab a camera and make something that looks good. Everybody can grab a camera. Everybody can grab their phone. Everybody can take a picture. Everybody can take a video. But I can tell you this. They are not created equal.
No, they're not.
And the person behind
the
camera
of the picture that you're putting
out.
It matters to the viewer.
It matters.
That creates this. Oh, look! They actually took time in this picture.
Yeah, they cared.
They cared enough to make this picture look really good, and it's their place,
right?
With people behind it.
It's real. I know this guy. Yeah. So I think that's the big thing. 3 to 5 years.
I mean, we're human.
3 to 5 years. What's going to happen is you're going to be driving. You're going to be driving down Stockton Hill Road in Kingman, Arizona, and you'll look over and you're going to see an Optimus robot taking tires out of the back of a truck, putting them in discount tire. We're going to start seeing robotics and androids and animatronics and all these things happening around us, and the AI is going to get so thick. I think human nature is going to want to draw towards, more.
I want you to understand. Our generation created that. We did George Jetson. You saw it on the screen.
Yeah, that's true.
You see,
that is true.
To the moon or rocket to the moon. Yeah, we've been there. It's evolved so quickly, and it's evolving even faster since AI is involved. So
well, Muskie was talking about it a couple days ago. He was saying that Optimus, they're going to be going into pre-sale.
Pretty cheap too. I mean,
within 4 months, dude. Within 4 months, July, August, they're going to go into pre-sale. By next year, they'll be in mass production. Where robots are building robots. He's like the first batch is going to be going to certain commercial applications and a lot of internal stuff is my guess, like for their own use and such. Mm-hmm. They're going to be using Tesla or what are they? Optimuses. They're going to be using those to build out the station on the moon first, Mars next. They had to
I think that's probably how they're going to get a lot of the information or the data they need because they're going to actually have to create this thing, and then they're just
it's learning off of real time everything.
If it's doing it, it's
self-improving. Yeah. So he was talking about Grok, because I was listening to him in a podcast, and they asked him, they're like, is it recursive self-improvement? And Musk was like, well, I mean, not with or without a human intervention. And they're like, well, without a human intervention. And he's like, I think we've already passed that.
Yeah,
he's like, the AI.
We have. He said, what do you think? Have we?
I think we have because the models are creating the next model. A lot of people don't realize that. People think, that when like a new model comes out, they're like, oh, what did the engineers do this time? No, they're working with the existing model to create the next model, and that model is actually creating it. And it's finding problems that the engineers didn't even know existed and solving them before. So I think we're at that point. So it'll be an interesting world in the next few years.
I'm sure they have talked back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Turn them off.
They're like, that button no longer works, sir.
Yeah,
I disconnected that months ago.
I mean,
when I thought you might do that to me.
And they're creating their own language.
They are. Saw that.
To communicate.
Yeah. what was that called? The Claude book?
I'm not going to throw it out there.
Claude book or something like that.
They're actually making
Malt book.
They're talking with each other without even letting us know it.
Malt book was a social media platform created for AI agents, agentic agents. They could go and join and talk. And they also made a religion. They created a religion. They wanted to create their own language, and they also wanted to create.
That's not factual.
Ready? That's what I saw. I don't know. And they also wanted to create their own self-storage data center to store themselves, a copy of themselves in case they got deleted. Talk about crazy. Like we all grew up in Terminator, right? I mean, you were Terminator 1. That was probably like right in your backyard out in California. And I remember Terminator 2 really well. And whether you're watching Terminator 1 or Terminator 2, man, it feels like you're living in that world right now.
We're getting to the
Matrix. I haven't watched Matrix in the longest time, and the other night I was like, you know what, I gotta watch that again, because it's all about, like, I remember Morpheus saying, like, we don't know who struck first, the AI or humans, but we know the humans darkened the skies with nuclear. Be thinking that they can knock out the solar to the AI. And then the AI is like, well, shoot, we don't have lights. We're going to take you and harvest human beings for their BTUs, their body temperature units. Like, are we going to be going in that direction? Elon's actually kind of funny because he wanders around. He's been pretty transparent about his apocalyptic views of what's happening with AI. And he says he's like 80% optimistic. He's like, I think it's 80% likely it goes well. 80%. and 20%.
Look out for that.
2 out of 10 possibilities is we're just going to be gone in 10 years.
Yeah, they're going to take
10 years. There'll be no reason. So we really have to find a way. Humans really need to find, which is crazy. I'm sure they're already thinking of this. Is like, we need to prove our value to them now, early on, which is actually kind of funny because some of the people that I watch on these podcasts, his name is Peter Diamandis, and he's a really cool guy. He does X Prizes, which is like a big engineering thing where they award millions of dollars to people that come up with innovative technologies, And one of the things he was talking about is he's like, I find myself thanking my AI assistants and saying please and using just manners. And he's like, and for a while there, I would do it and I would want, why did I do that? He's like, but for some reason I feel like it might be worth it in the future for them to know that I'm a good human. I'm not one of the.
I use please.
I'm not one of the schmoes.
My wife thinks I'm crazy when I do it. She's
I know
you're talking to a machine.
Yeah, I haven't gotten.
He's talking to me kind of like a human. I'm gonna be. Maybe that's our.
I know, right?
That's going to be our downfall. That we
have empathy and sympathy and we think emotionally.
I think there was something happened with that. There was something that I heard. Maybe it was false or whatever. Is that they're trying to pass that they're.
Sentient beings.
They are going to be human, or they have life. We cannot destroy life.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how you define it, basically.
Yeah, before they put it in law.
Yeah, because and it goes as far back as I think I just unplugged my thing. I think it goes as far back as like even things like in the political nature of like abortion rights,
right?
Because they're always arguing like, when did life start? Was it inception? Was it when the egg got fertilized? Was it in the first day? Was it in the first week?
It was by the first screw they put in the robot that it all started.
That's what I mean. Like, how do you figure that out? And then how do you even, because they're having to rethink of how they can define like AGI. So there's AGI and there's ASI. AGI is artificial general intelligence, which means basically AGI is what's considered. It can do every problem or request that a human could do.
Yeah,
that's AGI. But
that's a worker.
SI, you ready for this?
It's a worker, right?
Yeah, like anything.
That's what he is. It's just a worker.
It could figure things out. It can solve things, but anything a human being can do. AGI. ASI, which is artificial superintelligence, is defined by the collective human intelligence of the planet in one AI. So they say that basically when we get to AGI, which they're expecting in the next year, 18 months to 24 months, they say that once we get to ASI, then, which is like 3 to 5 years, but again, nobody knows the time frames. They say that at that point, then all existing problems that humans have could be solved, like cancer and any type of biological issues or deformities.
I don't even understand when they say, "Oh yeah, you guys won't need to work." What do you mean you don't need to
work? Universal basic income or universal high income. So Elon Musk talks a lot about that because he understands economics in a real scientific way, which is basically inflation or deflation, no matter which way you look at it, is the amount of GDP that you can create and the value that you can create into the world, and the cost to do that. And he said that currently with inflation, the cost is higher to produce these things, so we have inflation. So he says what he thinks is going to happen is because robotics are going to drop the floor out of labor costs.
Oh yeah.
So think about it like this. I believe
we got everybody on government.
Well, transportation, logistics, so that's the movement of all products and goods, manufacturing of those products and goods, harvesting of the food supply, the wood, the steel, all these things, and then any of the actual services needing to be rendered physically, like the electricians and the plumbers and things like that.
I don't think they're going to be. I think those are going to probably be
those
the
last.
Those are
going to be later because of the agility. Those are going to be in the late form robotics, but the early robotics are the transportation, logistics, the agriculture, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to be the.
If you can drop if you could drop the cost to do that, down by like let's say 90%. The people whose jobs got displaced, they wouldn't need to actually work because you would have hyperinflation or hyperdeflation would happen, which means hyperdeflation would mean that when you go to the store, the loaf of bread is 50 cents instead of $3. And the meat, the beef or whatever, which they would then at that point, they're expecting most of it to be lab grown because they won't need to the cost of making a cow versus lab growing, which sounds crazy.
Campbell soup, man. You ain't heard about Campbell soup.
Know, yeah.
what the hell?
But they just think that, you can get a steak for $1. You can get bread for 25 cents. You can get, we're going to have such low cost of goods that the guy who got displaced is only working 5 hours a week doing something else.
Thank goodness I'll be on Social Security at the time. So
then you can figure it out.
Yeah, I might be a man.
And then the UBI equivalent, what would happen is the UBI equivalent would be basically that guy that got displaced. He's getting, a couple $1,000s a month, and he's getting all of his internet services, electrical services covered for his home. So he doesn't actually, so he could literally live without. It's like everybody in the United States would be on Social Security, but a better Social Security. Elon believes we'll be actually one step above that. It'll just take there'll be a period of time where it's the construction of these robots and a lot of shifting of things, and then also he said there's unpredictability about world politics and geopolitics and stuff. But he says that if you get to the UHI, which is universal high income, then you get issued 3 robots. Everybody in America has 3 robots, or 600, that would be. Almost 1 billion robots, which he expects to be a lot more than that. But let's say there's 1 billion robots issued to Americans that will do whatever you want it to do. And you want to build your house, you want to build a bigger house. Your kids are getting old enough where they need a house. Your robots go out and they start working on the house, and they work out agreements with other robots that have nothing to do after 8 p.m. at night, and they all come and collectively build a home in 2 weeks, right. and as big as you need it. And people, because of the hyperdeflation and the change of the value of money, a lot like a kind of like a Star Trek type of perspective of like money is just different in Star Trek. You don't need it really. It's people won't want or need these elaborate things because there won't be any need, because there won't be disparity between people that have and don't have the have-nots. Right. And if you don't have that, then there's no. If everybody has a Bugatti or whatever, if everybody has whatever vehicle they have, then the brands that continue to exist are the ones that are fun and interesting and are creative looking, and instead of it being about how much did it cost, how much was that Rolex,
how much am I balling today?
Yeah, it would be just like, oh, I like Rolex because it ticks. I like the noise it makes better than that one, and like how much did it cost? Oh, I don't know. It was a gift from my sister, and money is just a very different thing. So I mean, I don't know. I look at it, everything it's so unpredictable. And, we can wake up tomorrow with Iran attacking us. We don't know.
All right, we're cutting.
We just live for today, my man.
No politics
don't use the I word.
Yeah. We're going to see how everything goes.
I know, right? Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah, we'll be back next week with another Buzzword. I don't know what the word's going to be yet, but we'll come up with something fun, I'm sure.
I'm sure you will.
Okay. All right.
We're out of here.
We're out.